So it's finally happening. The rumors were true. Tomorrow, March 27th at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we are getting a Nintendo Direct featuring around 30 minutes of upcoming games for the Nintendo Switch. We are getting the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct next week, but Nintendo wanted to go out with a bang for the Nintendo Switch, and they are dropping a Direct for tomorrow. And we will see what they have to give us before the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct next week. Yes, we are getting a Nintendo Switch Direct before the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct next week, showcasing games and potential updates to the console. But I do believe this is the last Direct for the Nintendo Switch. Doesn't necessarily mean that this console is not going to be supported anymore. I still think this is going to be a supported console. Nintendo's biggest console they've ever made, and I still think they're going to have games for it for the people that are not going to buy the Nintendo Switch 2, which is going to be a decent amount if the Nintendo Switch 2 launches in the next coming months. I don't expect people to buy it immediately. I think they're going to wait it out. If it comes out in June, I expect people to wait out maybe August, September, October maybe. And if it does come out in September, October, then I think that it's just going to be a certain factor in the sales for the Nintendo Switch 2. You gotta drop it at the right time. I think the right time for the Nintendo Switch 2 would be June. It would be before summer. Their main target audience are kids. They have a lot of adults, but the people that they're mainly targeting now in the next coming years are kids. So, Nintendo Switch Direct tomorrow. I want to talk about my predictions of what we can see, and then I'll go over next week before the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct my predictions for the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, which is going to be a lot bigger than this just because it is a brand new console. And this is the same console we've had for 7-8 years. So, let's talk about my predictions and what I think is going to be coming for the Nintendo Switch Direct tomorrow, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. The games I believe are coming to the Nintendo Switch 1 and shown tomorrow in the Direct are a few games that people have expected for like a few years already, and one of them being Metroid Prime 4. I believe that this is going to be announced tomorrow. Finally shown, finally a release date for this game. We know it's coming out this year, but we need a release date for the game. So, we know when it comes out and we're ready for it. This is a game people have been waiting for. It was announced a million times. It was originally for the Wii. Now it's going onto the Nintendo Switch 1 and potentially the Nintendo Switch 2. It's been a long wait. A very crazy long wait, but we are getting there. And I think that this is going to be a game showcase tomorrow. Showcase, shown, announced, anything about this game, it is going to be tomorrow. That's what I believe. If it doesn't, I really don't know when we're going to see it. We're going to probably see it next week on the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, but I just don't see that happening. I think it's a Nintendo Switch 1 game, and it's always been. So I expect Nintendo Switch 2 to have its other games, but Nintendo Switch 1 will have Metroid Prime 4 announced tomorrow and the release date shown during the Direct. The next game, the next bundle of games, I think you guys know where I'm going with this. People have been waiting for these to be remastered, for these to come out for the Nintendo Switch 1 as a bundle. And I think that is still going to happen. Shown tomorrow at the Nintendo Direct. I think this is going to be happening. If it is happening, if it's not happening, at least one of them to be remastered. In my opinion, that game should be Twilight Princess because it was technically not as remastered as all the other Legend of Zelda games like Skyward Sword. That was from the Wii to the Nintendo Switch. Wind Waker from the GameCube to the Wii U. Twilight Princess technically has 3 versions of it, but one's the GameCube, one's the Wii, and one's the Wii U. Those are all the net consoles one after another. And I think the Twilight Princess hype needs to be shown for the Nintendo Switch if it's not with Wind Waker. If it's with Wind Waker, that's even better. But I still believe that Twilight Princess deserves a remaster more than any Zelda game now, and that it would just make big sales for Nintendo. And I expect it to happen. I truly do. I think Nintendo should do it. If they do it, then we're going to get a Zelda remaster before the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. And I still think that the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct is going to showcase something Zelda. The last time we got a 3D Zelda announcement for a new Zelda game, not including Echoes of Wisdom, was Tears of the Kingdom. It has almost been already 2 years since the launch of Tears of the Kingdom. May 12, 2023 was when Tears of the Kingdom was launched. And I expect Nintendo to actually show a game brand new for Zelda. No idea if it's going to be open world, but it lines up because the first time we got a Tears of the Kingdom teaser slash reveal slash whatever was at E3, and that was 2 years after Breath of the Wild. So if there is a pattern, or if they're working on a Zelda game, maybe the last and third adaptation of a open world Zelda game, I believe it's going to be announced sooner than later. It sounds crazy, but I still think Nintendo has one more open world Zelda game that they can make. No idea how it's going to be. No idea when it's going to come out. I can expect it coming out 3 years from now if they announce it now. But I think Nintendo really has one more game in them, and I think we are going to get that announcement soon. Even if it's not open world, I still think we're getting a Zelda game, a traditional Zelda game. No idea if Eiji Aonuma is open to the idea of opening a new branch of Zelda games again for additional Zelda games, because he doesn't really like the fact that Nintendo fans really want a traditional Zelda game. He prefers to make the open world games, and he also questions why people want traditional Zelda games. Why wouldn't you want an open world Zelda game? It's like all you can do. You can do everything in that game. So I expect a Zelda announcement sooner or later, and I think Twilight Princess Wind Waker Remastered tomorrow, Nintendo Direct. If I'm wrong, I still expect a Zelda announcement at the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. These are the games that I expect to be announced tomorrow. There's probably going to be many more games showcased tomorrow for the Nintendo Switch 1. This is what Nintendo does. They randomly give us a Nintendo Switch Direct that we expected 2 months before the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, but we're actually getting it a week before the Direct. Again, the Nintendo Switch 1 isn't going anywhere, so if you guys are concerned about the Nintendo Switch 2, don't be. There's 100 million active users right now using a Nintendo Switch. You can't expect every single one of them to switch to the Nintendo Switch 2 as soon as it comes out. That's impossible. So Nintendo Switch is still going to be supported even after Nintendo Switch 2 has its success, or even after its launch. But expect a lot for the Nintendo Switch 1 in the future, but also the Nintendo Switch 2 is also going to have its exclusive games. That's the main focus here. Nintendo Switch is still going to be supported, but when the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, there are going to be games exclusive to that console that are not going to be on the original Nintendo Switch, which is a certain marketing move that Nintendo normally likes to do to get people to buy their console. If the people that are really wanting the game and they only have a Nintendo Switch are forced to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 so they can play it. So don't be concerned about the Nintendo Switch 2. Don't think that the Nintendo Switch 1 is going away, because it's definitely not. Still the biggest console Nintendo's ever made. I just expect more out of the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct than we are going to get tomorrow. Tomorrow is more of like a parting ways with the Nintendo Switch 1 for its Directs. I still don't think we're going to get any more Directs for the Nintendo Switch 1 after this one. Would it make sense? If they were to do it, they would combine it with the Nintendo Switch 2 and just say that this game is coming out for both the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2. This is the final Nintendo Switch Direct. It's crazy to say, it's been 8 years with this console, but we are finally going into a new era of Nintendo, and it's happening as early as this year. So everybody who thinks that the Nintendo Switch 1 is gone, it's not, but it's not going to be as relevant as the Nintendo Switch 2 in the next coming years when it comes to Nintendo games and the games that they're going to be dropping for these consoles. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments below if you found it helpful, and if you guys are excited for a Nintendo Switch Direct before the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. I guess this is the pre-hype before the actual hype. You know, we're pre-gaming before the actual game. So let's get excited. I mean, this is a double whammy. This is nothing to be, upset about. If anything, I'm happy. But we will see. No certainties yet what we're going to be getting. It could be absolute garbage. It could be things we won't play. But I don't think that's the case. I think we're actually going to get something good. And until the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, and until the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, let's enjoy the Nintendo Switch 1 and play it before the people that decide to buy the Nintendo Switch 2 play the Nintendo Switch 2 and forget about the Nintendo Switch 1. But yeah. Again, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.